everybody. Hello. My name is Maria Jackson, and today we're on What Is That Talk About? So, today we're going to discuss a very important sensitive topic here. Today we're talking about President Trump's decision to stop funds for Planned Parenthood by reinstating the gag rule on January 23rd, 2017. This prevents Planned Parenthood from operating and providing medical care in the United States, and it also impacts reproductive programs in other countries supported by the United States. In this show, we'll analyze how India media, as well as U.S. media, reacted to Trump's decision to stop funding for those programs, and how they framed their coverage. We will analyze publications from Indian Express, Feminism in India, The Hindu, and the New York Times, as well as other articles. We will use the lenses of framing and agenda setting theory to explain how the media works when it comes to sensitive topics such as women issues, which we'll get to right after the break. Alright, so we're back on What's That Talk About. So we mentioned earlier what Trump did, but we didn't exactly define what is the gag rule. So the gag rule was put in place by the government to stop allowing taxpayer dollars to support clinics that allow for abortion. This rule started with Ronald Reagan in 1984, and it was overturned by Bill Clinton in 93. And then, the story goes, reinstated by Bush, taken away, overturned by Obama, and then now reinstated by President Trump. As you can see, the Democrats are the ones that overturned it, and the Republicans are the ones that keep reinstating it. So, critics of the rule say it deprives the world's poor women of desperately needed medical care, while proponents say that U.S. tax dollars should not even promote abortion. This is coming from the Guardian articles. The problem is it's not just about stopping abortion funds, though. It's stopping the giving of contraceptives, HIV services, birth control, and causes women to even try to attempt. And we're back, folks. We're at the end of our show today. Because all the services are provided up in conclusion when it comes to sensitive topics in trouble because such as funds and they can't help etc. The media focuses more on West Africa and no matter what they suffer the most in this case because of the division affects the fund. People particularly we contribute most of the media chose to without our portion of money. It's something very difficult. And once again, it's not just about abortion, but other health services that are not prevented as well. We're going to go deeper into even though it was one decision, so that one decision changed lives everywhere. One second, and the media allows us to identify a problem and people will take the side of one by broadcasting and discussing the issue. So now we're going to look at some research now questions about the topic. We can go further deeper into it. And U.S. media talks about the same agenda. So how did the U.S. and the Indian media portray President Trump's decision to stop funding women's health? They're on the same page because the issue did they have similarities and differences in how they covered this media? So there you have. And did the media take the women or did they fall more on the government administration side? Maria Jackson. Or did the media have an evaluation more of our own show on this issue? Let's talk about. We'll answer those questions in just a second as well, and then we'll be right back. Hello. Back again. So I asked a couple questions, but of course, how do we get the answer to these questions? How do we know the answer? So I'll let you know how I got it in my methodology. So to get my research, I explored different articles pertaining to the subject. In regards to the U.S., I read multiple articles, such as articles that came from CNN and other articles, but mainly I got all my sources from the New York Times. And the New York Times, if you didn't know, is a U.S. newspaper that's been around for over 100 years and discusses topics that are going on in the U.S. and topics that are going on internationally. From the New York Times, I discovered at least 5 articles written around the time President Trump first entered the White House. This has relevancy due to the fact that the gag rule was reinstated on Trump's first day of presidency. Although the gag rule affects multiple nations, I focused on Indian media because India is one of the countries that suffer the most from it. And through Indian media, I use India Express, India Today, Feminism in India, and The Hindu to see India's reaction. India Express is an English daily newspaper published in Mumbai, India. And today is an English magazine and news television channel. And these stories help me develop an analysis based on the way each of them discussed and portrayed the matter. Even though the articles are from the same country, does not mean that they're all displaying the same thing. And to figure out the answers to my research questions, I read all these articles and I compared and contrasted them to each other to come up with my analysis of the matter as a topic and to answer my questions. The stories I found from India were also all recent and published on the same time Trump entered the office to make the decision. Now, in a second, we'll finally get to answer those questions. We'll be right back with you. Okay, now we're back on what to talk about, and we get to the fun part of the show, the actual answer and breakdown of the media coverage on this issue. So, when the U.S. presented this story, it highlighted the negative effects of President Trump's decision, and instead of positive aspects or why he stands behind his decision. They used agenda-setting theory by framing a direction for the audience to follow when it comes to the subject. These health crises must be stopped at the source by strength, health systems, and smart policies before they balloon out of control. And the New York Times and the Gabriel expanded this, and they used this article to get the attention of others and get them to believe that this decision is not a good one, and it's a health crisis. In the article, Trump's global gag rule from the New York Times, it finished this article by stating we must not turn our backs on low-income women and girls in the United States or abroad. These are all from the New York Times. And in the global gag rule in the article, it states our new government's anti-life stance jeopardizes this progress and makes sense only to those who devalue women. This is also from the New York Times, and it's clearly framing women as victims and influences the audience to feel for women, as do the other two New York articles that I read. And if we go into Indian media, it's about the same thing. Looking at Indian media, there are articles that are similar to the articles produced in the U.S. For example, in Feminism in India, they layer you in the story and point you in the direction of the woman. They say things like, but in his first act as president, he sought to control women's bodies. And the Indian Express, he did the same thing by ending the article by stating, and women as always will be the victims in Indian Express. They're comparing a woman from back in the day when they had less resources to the woman of today that should be able to have more resources. And then again, making the focus women being the victim. There's even an article from the New York Times that also coincides with Indian media that highlights Indian women suffering due to this decision. America Aid has made a very valuable contribution to women's health, with these policy reversals undermining it. It says that in New York Indian Times. And the Hindu points out the international reproductive health community is naturally upset at an action that may be technically legal, but is morally and ethically questionable, and that penalizes women and organizations in ways that go well beyond abortion access. That's from the Hindu. These media stations are all on the same page as far as they're being the main focus. They're trying to get the audience to be aware of women suffering. And if we go on to the next question that was answered, if we took the media side, the media took the women's side, or did the media take Trump's side? I don't think the media from the U.S. or India, from reading my articles, either southern side with Trump or the government. And looking and analyzing articles, there is no mention of government in any positive way. And with the agenda being set on the loss for women, there is no room for the administration side. All these articles I have read from the New York Times, they all revolve around women's health. And in India today, an India media outlet, they give out statistics of what will happen to women without health care due to this decision. I believe this political move will endanger the lives and health of the poorest and most vulnerable women in our country by denying them access and putting them at risk of unsafe abortion. This was stated in India today. The media has all been framed to focus again on the poor effects of women. In an article I read from CNN, a U.S. outlet, it stated that the Mexico City policy, which is also known as the gag rule, has been reversed 3 times in 32 years. It's time to do so again. That lets you know strongly they're pointing you in a direction of how they feel about it. The media is very informative of how it's a bad decision, and they continue to frame women as victims and focus to to lead people to choose the woman's side, not the government. And to answer the third question, the media has plenty of moral evaluation. We asked the question if there was any moral evaluation, and yes, there is, because it's a big impact in multiple countries that need medical help the most. I chose Indian media because Indian media is one of the countries that were majorly impacted by the decision. They broadcast women as being victims and highlight the fact that this decision is a way to control women and their bodies. It is fear for women's sexuality that makes men control it, even if they have a lot of idea of what it means to be pregnant, raise a child, or have an abortion. Trump failed to understand the golden rule, no uterus, no opinion. This was stated in Feminism in India. They clearly have high morals for women, and the media in America has the same moral evaluation by stating the President Trump's executive orders reimposing and widening the global gag rule violates women's rights to health, but also their right to life. This is from the New York Times. And as you can see, the media feels like women aren't getting access to their rights to life. So it's morally wrong, which is what the idea they're creating for everybody to see. So to sum it all up, we'll get to that in a second. And we're back, folks. We're at the end of our show today. So to sum it up and in conclusion, when it comes to sensitive topics such as women, etc., the media focuses more on what they want to by framing no matter what origin. In this case, because of the decision affects so many people, particularly women, the media chose to set a tone for people to focus on the women to set the bigger picture. Once again, it's not just about abortion, but other health services that are now being prevented as well. Even though it was one decision, that one decision changed lives everywhere. And the media allows us to identify the problem and pushes us to take the side of the woman by broadcasting and discussing the disadvantages the woman now face due to Trump's decision. The Indian media and U.S. media both carry the same agenda in a sensitive topic. And I'm sure that other news places abroad will feel the same way. And they're on the same page because the issue, once again, is wider than just the U.S. So there you have it, folks. That's it for today on What's the Word? I'm Maria Jackson, and we're reporting live to you at our home show, What's the Talk About. Have a good day, folks.